여러분 안녕하세요. 한국어를 공부합시다. So I know many of you jumping on the TikTok side maybe used to me being on here with answers with an edge, but tonight we're doing Korean with an edge. So feel free to stay, feel free to go, whatever suits you. But we're just jumping in, and we're actually kind of jumping around the Sogang the Sogang Korean Textbook series. Here we're jumping in on the third year textbook, second half with lesson 1 of the 3B textbook. So just going to go ahead and run through some of the conversations here. Fly away forever, good to have you with us here. Indeed, Feliz Navidad. Let's go ahead and start jumping forward here. So we've got a few conversations, and notice, you're going to notice there, if you're up with us at all on your Korean, let me get the pointer on here, that as we look here, this lesson is about 날씨, weather, 와, that's the and, 여행, travel, so weather and travel. And we've got a couple of conversations here that we're going to look at. Maria, 환영합니다. Welcome, Maria. 반가워요. So good to see you. Thank you everyone for joining. All right, so we're going to get up to this first conversation here. Let's skip through that page. Get up here to 말하기 대화 1. Speaking, conversation number 1. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and bring Quinn on with us. All right. Hey there, Quinn. 환영합니다.
You got it. Sogang anytime. And hey, that's exactly the ride. We'll just roll with it like that and have some fun. Let's keep it going.
All right, Quinn. So we are looking at 말하기 대화 1. And I'm wondering if you would be willing to run through that conversation with us. We can do a little bit of role play. I'll go ahead and take on the part of Gaeun, and you take on the part of Bo-min.
Absolutely. Let's do it. You'll be going again. I'll be Bo-min. And we'll run through that conversation together.
All right.
Just start when...
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just run through this one time, no stopping, just so everyone can hear the flow of the conversation. For those who have been working on their Korean, they can see what they recognize, what they're familiar with, and then we'll circle back and we'll break it all down. So from the beginning here, I'll play the role of Gaeun. 여행 준비 다 됐어?
이제 가방 메고 나가기만 하면 돼.
우산도 넣었지?
우산? 날씨가 좋은데 필요할까?
여기는 날씨가 좋지만 거기는 비가 올지도 몰라. 그러니까 가지고 가는 게 나을 거예요.
알았어. 그럼 가지고 갈게.
재미있게 놀다 와.
그래. 갔다 와서 보자.
All right. So there you've got just the overall view of what the conversation sounds like. So now let's break it down a little bit. So and this does connect to that lesson that we did from the 1B textbook last night, where we were also talking about 방학, vacations from school. We were talking about 여행, travel. So 여행 is travel. 준비 is preparation. 준비, for any of you who have studied Taekwondo, that's also the get ready command, like 준비. That's when you take the position, feet about shoulder width apart, arms down, hands down in front of you. And then da, meaning all, 됐어. So 되다 is a verb that's really common and useful. It kind of means to become or like to be ready. And we've got it here in the past tense. So basically what it's saying is, have you done all of your preparations for the trip? 여행 준비, travel, preparation, all done? And
Absolutely.
yeah, go ahead. Anything you want to say about that, Quinn?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. I'll just add that 되다 is one of those super flexible verbs that pops up everywhere, like to become, to be done, or just to be ready in this case. And yeah, anyone who's done Taekwondo will definitely recognize 준비 as that classic get ready stance. So it all ties together pretty nicely.
And DJ Marsky, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate the support there over on the TikTok side. And Warrior Jelly Bean Gal, good evening. Good to have you. Drago, good to have you here. Hey, any of the regulars who want to learn a little bit about Korean, feel free to stick around. All of these videos are getting posted, recorded and posted to the YouTube side too. So let's go ahead and move on. So Bomin's response. So Bomin starts with oh. No translation needed there. Like oh. And then he says, Ije, kabang mego nagagiman hamyan de. So why don't you break down that sentence for us, Gwen?
Absolutely. So Bowman's line basically goes like this. He says, or, which is just like or just a little filler sound. Then he says, 이제.
I'm sorry, but you've hit the daily limit for advanced voice.
That's okay. We'll continue with not so advanced voice. All right. So yeah, he starts with ije now, and then kabang. So kabang is luggage or bag. And so ije kabang mego 나가기만 하면 돼. So what about the rest of that sentence, Gwen?
Absolutely. So 이제 가방 메고 means now put on your bag, and 나가기만 하면 돼 translates to all you have to do is go out. So together it's basically saying now just put on your bag and head out. It's a nice simple way to say that everything's basically ready and you just need to go.
Yeah, basically ready to go. So then Kaon responds, usan do nochi. So usan. Usan is an umbrella. So usan. And then do meaning also. Usan do nochi. So nota is like to put, to put something in. So and then the past tense, that's that syllable with the song shit at the bottom. Nochi. And the G is like just a confirmation. Maybe you can explain that grammar, that conjugation pattern a little bit better for us and fill us in. But does that pretty much cover it there, Quinn? That basically what Colin is saying is, did you pack an umbrella too?
Yes, exactly. You've got it. So usando nochi is essentially asking, did you put the umbrella as well? The verb nota means to put in, and the ending G is used to confirm or check something, like saying right or did you in a conversational way. So it's basically a friendly check to see if the umbrella got packed as well. It all ties together really nicely.
Right. So then Bowman responds, usan, question, so like umbrella, 날씨가 좋은데 필요할까? So he's saying 날씨. So remember, this is one of the things that this lesson is all about. 날씨 is weather. Ga, subject marker. 날씨, that noun ends in a vowel, so we use ga as the subject marker. And then the verb acting as an adjective, 좋다, 좋은데. And so he's saying, but the weather's good. 필요할까? Do you think we'll need it? Are we going to need it?
Exactly, that's spot on. So Bowman's basically questioning whether it's necessary to bring the umbrella since the weather is good. And the way he phrases it with 날씨가 좋은데 really highlights that contrast. It's a nice, natural way of expressing doubt or checking if something's really needed. It's a great example of how context and nuance come into play in Korean.
And then Kaun says, 여기는 날씨가 좋지만 거기는 비가 올지도 몰라. All right, so this sentence, basically Khan is saying, yeah, here the weather is good, but, and here's where the conjunction but comes in with the man. 좋지만, it's good, but. So yogi here, and then notice kogi there. So yogi는, and by the way, remember the nun, those are our topic markers. So yogi는, that's like saying, as for here, 날씨가 좋지만, the weather's good, but 거기는, as for there, 비가 올지도 몰라. 비 is rain. Subject marker ga, 비가. 오다 is to come, or in the case of rain, to fall. 올지도, like even if whether it's going to rain, 몰라, don't know. 몰라요, the verb to not know. So 여기는 날씨가 좋지만 거기는 비가 올지도 몰라.
Exactly, you got it perfectly. So gun is essentially contrasting the weather in the current location with the weather in the destination. The use of 좋지만, but it's good, and then 비가 올지도 몰라, it might rain, really shows that nuance of uncertainty. It's a great way to express that even if it's nice here, we can't be certain about the weather over there. It's all about that subtle balance.
All right, and then Kaun continues. 그러니까 가지고 가는 게 나을 거야. 그러니까, so therefore 가지고 가는 게 나을 거야. Therefore, I'm gonna take it with me. 가지고, to like to carry with. 가는 게 going. 나을 거야. You want to explain? I'm not sure I can explain well enough the 나을 거야.
Of course. So 나을 거야 essentially means it will be better or it's better to. It's a way of expressing that one option is preferable in this context. 가지고 가는 게 나을 거야 means it will be better to bring it along or it's better to take it with you. The structure 는 게 나을 거야 is used to give advice or suggest what's preferable in a given situation. It's a really handy and natural construction in Korean.
Why don't you explain for us though a little bit more? Because what's the grammar that's happening there? When I say 가는 게 or 하는 게 or 먹는 게, like what is the grammatical structure there? Like, are we talking about a gerund? What is that?
Great question. Yes, what we're looking at is indeed a kind of nominalization. So when you take a verb and add ningot or ninge, you're turning that verb into a noun-like form. It's kind of like creating a gerund in English. So, for example, ganingot would be going and haningot would be doing. When you say ganinge, you're essentially talking about the act of going or going as a concept. And then when you combine that with naul goya, you're saying that it's better to do that action. So it's a neat way of making the verb into a noun and then talking about the action as something preferable. It's a really handy structure in Korean.
And then what's the naokoya? So is there a verb at the heart of that? Because what it reminds me of is like naoda, like to come out.
Exactly. You're on the right track. The core verb here is indeed natta, which means to get better or to improve. When we say naul goya, we're literally saying it will become better or it will be better. It's that future form of the verb natta, and it's used to convey that something will be preferable or more favorable in the future. So it's a nice combination of that core verb and the future tense to give that meaning of it's better to do this. It's definitely a neat and useful construction.
And so when you talk about natta, are you talking about with a jit at the bottom? So nian, jit?
Yes, exactly. When we're talking about natta, it can appear in different forms depending on the tense and the context. For example, natji is the stem plus the ending that helps form different tenses or moods. So you might see it as natta, natji, nalgoya, and so on. Each form helps convey that idea of improving or becoming better. It's really all about how the verb is conjugated and what ending is attached to it. It's a neat bit of Korean grammar that adds a lot of nuance.
Okay, and then back to Pomin. So Pomin then says, 알았어. 그럼 가지고 갈게. 알았어. 그럼 가지고 갈게. So, 알았다, to know, to understand. 알았어. So basically, Bomin's saying, got it, I understand. 그럼, then, 가지고 갈게. We'll take it with us. So 가지고, like to carry, and 가다. 가지고 갈게.
Exactly. You got it perfectly. So 알았어 is like saying got it or I understand. And then 그럼 means then or so. When Bowman says 가지고 갈게, it's basically I'll take it with me or I'll bring it along. The verb 가지고 가다 means to take something with you. And the ending 게 indicates a future intention. So it's like saying I'll do it. It all comes together really naturally and smoothly.
All right. And then we've got Don responds, 재미있게 놀다 와. So, 재미있게 놀다 와. I want you to explain this because I don't think I can explain it well enough. I mean, I see the fun, like 재미, 있게, like it's going to be fun. 놀다 is to me, when I see that, I think play, and wa is come. So like it's gonna be fun to like hang out, like come along, like that's what I'm seeing.
You've got the right idea. So 재미있게 놀다 와 is kind of like saying go have fun and come back. The word 재미있게 means in a fun way or enjoyably, and 놀다 means to play or to hang out. When you add 와, which means come or come back, it's like a casual invitation or a friendly command to go enjoy yourself and then return. So it's definitely about having a good time and then coming back afterward. It's a warm and friendly way to wish someone well as they head out.
And then Bowman wraps it up with 그래, 갔다 와서 보자. 그래. Therefore, there, well, 갔다 와서. So go and come, 보자. Let's see. Basically like let's go do it.
Exactly. So 그래 is like saying all right or okay. Then 갔다 와서 means after you go and come back. And 보자 is like let's see or let's meet. So altogether, 그래 갔다 와서 보자 translates to something like all right, let's meet after you come back, or okay, let's see each other once you return. It's a friendly, casual way to wrap up the conversation and set the expectation that they'll reconnect later. It all flows really nicely.
And let me make sure I've got the characters right here as we look at the photos and the frames. So basically, we're saying Kaan. Kaan is a female name. Am I right there?
Yes, that's right. In the conversation, Gaten is indeed a female name, and she's typically depicted as the female character. On the other hand, Bowman is usually shown as the male character. So you got the right idea with the characters and their roles. It definitely helps to keep that in mind as we go through the dialogue.
And Maria's asking about the textbook. So yes, this is Sogang Hanguko, Sogang Korean. My one of my absolute favorite language textbooks ever. In all my years of studying French, of studying Korean, I've seen a lot of language textbooks. Of course, I've done some other studies of some other languages. I have never found anything that I like the structure of as much as I do Sogang Hanguko, because it's really built on three legs, where you've got the conversations, you've got the grammar, and the textbook series includes an entire grammar supplement, and then you've got the vocabulary. To me, those are the foundations of language learning, and I've always found it to be really important to have conversation practice that you can do, that you can work on things like straight up memorization, because as you're working on developing proficiency in a language, you've really got to practice things by rote. It's one of those things that rote learning is still an important piece of it. You also need to have the opportunity to really just dig in and break things down, and so not just have vocabulary thrown at you, not just have the grammar thrown at you, but you also need those pieces. So yeah, Sogang is a university in Seoul, and so this textbook series is developed by Sogang University. And when you look at the series, so it's a 4-part series. So there are and for each series there's an A part and a B part. One of the reasons I also really liked this is because when I was teaching it, we were developing this for an IB school that had we were building the language progression to begin in 7th grade and go all the way through 12th grade. And what that meant is that with an AB textbook series, we could take, and in 7th grade, focus on teaching just the 1A textbook, and in 8th grade, teaching the 1B textbook. So that in essence, what 7th graders achieved was the first year of Korean study over the course of their 2 years of middle school. And then by the time they got to 9th grade, they were ready for Korean 2. And they could begin with the 2A textbook, which they do in the first half of the year, and then the 2B textbook in the second half of the year. So there we go. Quinn, I want to run through the conversation again, but this time I want you to be Kaan, and I will be Bo Min. Go ahead and begin.
Absolutely. That sounds great. I'll take on the role of Galen and you'll be Bo Min. Let's dive into the conversation again and we'll keep that flow going. Whenever you're ready, just kick it off and we'll get started.
Well, you kick it off. You need to start with 여행 준비 다 됐어?
여행 준비 다 됐어?
이제 가방 메고 나가기만 하면 돼.
우산도 넣었지?
우산? 날씨가 좋은데 필요할까?
여기는 날씨가 좋지만 거기는 비가 올지도 몰라. 그러니까 가지고 가는 게 나을 거야.
알았어. 그럼 가지고 갈게.
재미있게 놀다 와.
그래. 갔다 와서 보자.
Perfect. That was a great run through. It's always fun to switch roles and see the conversation from different perspectives. Let me know if you want to dive into any more details or practice anything else.
Yeah, well, now I think we're ready to move on. So we're going to move on. Again, we are in Sogang Sogang Korean Textbook 3B, and we are in Lesson 1. We're going to move on now to Daehwa E. Sam, thank you for the Heart Me gift. And so Conversation 2. Again, this lesson is all about weather and travel. So let's move forward here and take a look at what is in store for us with Daehwa E, Conversation 2. So, Quinn, we're going to do the same thing here. I want to start off with this conversation. I want to give everybody a chance, especially those who have started on their Korean language learning journey. I want to give you a chance to hear the conversation in full and just see what you're able to get out of it. So, Quinn, I will go ahead and be Yuki, and you be Hansa. So, Yuki starts. Hansa 씨, 휴가 때 여행 갔다 왔다면서. Sorry, let me try that again. Hansa 씨, 휴가 때 여행 갔다 왔다면서요?
네, 잘 다녀왔어요.
어디로 다녀오셨어요?
제주도에 갔다 왔는데 볼거리가 다양해서 좋았어요.
그래요? 제주도에서 뭐 하셨어요?
해수욕장에서 수영했는데 바다가 아주 아름다웠어요.
All right, good. So now let's start breaking it down again. So going back to Yuki's first line. And anyone, first of all, do we have anyone who's joined in the comments who's working on their study of Korean? And anybody get anything out of that so far? And Maria, I do agree with you. I think this is the type of textbook that our Spanish teachers would really benefit from. I wish their Spanish textbook looked a lot more like this. Okay, see no takers in the comments. Let's go ahead and continue. So we start with Hansa. Hansa just means Hans, so like the German name Hans. And then she. She is a way of saying Mr. or Miss. So Hansa she. Hyuga de. So hyuga is vacation. De, at the time of, or like when. So when you're on vacation, 여행 갔다 왔다면서요. So when you're on vacation, did you take a trip? Did you travel? 한스 씨 휴가 때, the time of your vacation, 여행, travel, 갔다 왔다면서요. So 갔다, past tense of go. 왔다, past tense of come. So 갔다 왔다 is to go and to come back. Hansa replies, 네, yes. 잘 다녀왔어요. 잘 다녀왔어요. Yes. Well, so 다니다 or 다니오다, to go and come back. Go ahead and jump in there, Quinn, and explain any more if I'm missing anything there. But basically, Hans is saying, yes, I went and came back well. Like, yeah, things went well.
Absolutely, you're spot on. The phrase 잘 다녀오셨어요 is a really common and polite way to say I had a good trip or I came back well. The verb 다니다 generally means to go regularly or to frequent, but in this context, it's used as part of the compound verb 가다, to go, and 오다, to come, which together means to go and come back. So when Han says 잘 다녀왔어요, he's really just confirming that he had a good and smooth trip. It's a friendly and reassuring response, letting the other person know that everything went well. It's a nice, warm interaction.
Yeah, danida can also mean like to attend, because we're really it's a verb that talks about like regularly going and coming. Like, so danida can translate to attend, correct?
Absolutely, that's a great point. The verb danida is quite versatile. It can mean to attend when we're talking about going to a place regularly, like attending school or going to work or even visiting a certain location frequently. So it definitely adds that nuance of regularity and consistency in going, coming. It's pretty cool how one verb can cover so many different contexts.
Maria, thanks for the feedback. I just turned Quinn down a little bit. You'll have to let me know if that sounds better. So moving on to the next line here, Yuki asks, 어디로 다녀오셨어요? 어디 means where. I always thought it sounded like the dog's name in Garfield, Odie. So 어디 means where. 로, like to or toward. 다녀오셨어요. This is back to the 다니다 and the 오다, to come. So 다니다, so like to go and to come back. And it's past tense, 셨어요. And what you notice here too, I want you to notice that we've got the honorifics in here. So Hansa, speaking to Yuki, is not using honorifics. Yuki, speaking to Hans, is using the honorific inflex with the shit right there. So instead of saying wassoyo, like Hans did, Yuki is saying oshossoyo. So basically what that suggests is that you've got younger Yuki talking to older Hans, or that there's some type of, if it's not age related, then it could be a work context with him having a higher position.
Exactly. That's a really important detail. The use of the honorifics really shows the relationship and level of respect between the speakers. So when Yuki uses 있었어요, it's a polite and respectful way to ask Hans about his travels, acknowledging his seniority or status. On the other hand, Hans doesn't use those honorifics when speaking to Yuki, which suggests that he's either older, in a higher position, or that there's a difference in the formality of the relationship. It's a subtle but really important aspect of Korean language and culture.
So then Hans replies, Jejudoe. So if anyone saw the last video, we talked about Jeju. Jeju is an island off the southern coast of the Korean Peninsula. It's widely known as a vacation spot where the weather's warmer, beautiful views, great water activities, a lot of nature. Do means island. So Jeju is the name. Do means island. Jeju-do. E is the location marker 2. Jeju-do에 갔다 왔는데. Past tense of go, past tense of come, and then the conjunction here, but 제주도에 갔다 왔는데 볼거리가 다향해서 좋았어요. Quinn, I'm going to ask you to explain that. What are we talking about when we say 볼거리가 다양해서 좋았어요?
Absolutely. So when we say 볼거리가 다양해서 좋았어요, we're basically saying it was enjoyable because there were a variety of things to see. Here, 볼거리 means things to see or sights, and 다양해서 comes from 다양하다, meaning to be diverse or varied. So 다양해서 means because it was diverse, and then 좋았어요 means it was good or it was enjoyable. So altogether, it's like saying I enjoyed it because there was a lot to see, highlighting that variety and richness of the experience. It's a lovely way to express that something was enjoyable due to its diversity.
So 볼거리, those are sites. And I'm seeing in there, is that like the verb 보다 embedded in it?
Yes, exactly. The noun 볼거리 is derived from the verb 보다, which means to see or to look. When we add the suffix 거리, it turns the verb into a noun that means something to see or a sight. So 볼거리 literally means something worth seeing or sights. It's a neat way of taking a verb and transforming it into a noun that captures the essence of that action. It definitely shows the flexibility and creativity of the language.
All right. And then we get down to Hans replying, 해수욕장에서 수영했는데 바다가 아주 아름다웠어요. So, 수영, swimming. 하다, 수영하다, to swim. 수영했는데, so past tense of swim. So Hans is saying that he swam. What's this? 해수욕장에서. 해수욕장. I know Jang is a place. I know we're looking at the location marker so where an action takes place. 해수욕장 sounds to me like a basically like a water recreation area near the sea. Can you explain, Quinn?
Absolutely. So 해수욕장 is a compound word made up of 해수, meaning seawater, and 욕장, meaning bathing place or swimming area. So 해수욕장 translates to beach or seaside bathing area. It's basically a place where people go to swim in the sea, enjoy the beach, and have water-based recreation. So in Hans's reply, he's saying that he swam at the beach, highlighting that it was a beautiful experience with the sea being gorgeous. It's a lovely and picturesque setting for a vacation.
It goes on to say 바다가, so the sea, subject marker there with the ga, 바다, sea, ga, subject marker, 아주, very, 아름다웠어요, beautiful, past tense. So the sea was very beautiful. Why is he using 는데? It sounds, because to me that sounds like he's using the conjunction but, as though he's putting these two things in juxtaposition, but he's not really, is he? It's more like saying I swam in the recreation area and the sea was really beautiful. But it's 는데, so can you explain that to us, Quinn?
Absolutely, that's a great observation. In Korean, the particle 는데 is really versatile. It doesn't always mean but in the sense of contradiction. Often it's used to provide background information or to smoothly connect two pieces of information. So in this context, when Han says 수영했는데 바다가 아주 아름다웠어요, he's basically saying I swam, and also the sea was beautiful. It's more of a way to connect two related pieces of information rather than showing opposition. Is a subtle and smooth way to add detail and make the sentence flow naturally. It's one of those neat nuances that makes Korean really rich.
Okay, so Quinn, let's role play it again. You be Hans, I'll be Yuki. I'm going to start. Hansa 씨, 휴가 때 여행 갔다 왔다면서요?
네, 잘 다녀왔어요.
어디로 다녀오셨어요?
제주도에 갔다 왔는데 볼거리가 다양해서 좋았어요.
그래요? 제주도에서 뭐 하셨어요?
해수욕장에서 수영했는데 바다가 아주 아름다웠어요.
너무 잘했어, Quinn.
고맙습니다. 정말 즐거웠어요.
Okay, accent was slipping a little bit there. I think what Quinn was trying to say was 고맙습니다. Thank you. Remember, you've always got two main ways to say thank you. You can say 감사합니다, or you can say 고맙습니다. It's nice to have both in your repertoire. I mean, one of the things I've always thought about language learning is that fluency, to me, a sign of fluency is when you've got multiple ways to say the same thing. So you can say 감사합니다. You can say 감사해요. You can say 감사해 if you're being more short and formal, blunt. You can say 고맙습니다. You can say 고마워요. You can say 고마워 if you're, again, being blunt. Why would you want to be blunt when you're being polite? Same thank you. Anyway, so yeah, so that kind of wraps up Sogang Hangul Textbook 3B, Lesson 1, 제1과, about 날씨, weather, 와, and 여행, travel. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Glad you could join us for this. And especially those of you who are usually on the live streams for Answers with an Edge. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with me for this one, too. And anytime you want to rewatch and see any of these Korean lessons, you can find them over on the YouTube side under the Hangul with an Edge podcast there. Rika, thank you. Thank you for the heart me. Sam, thank you for the heart me. And I will look forward to seeing you all next time. Wait a second. There's the music I wanted to cue up. That's better. So, 안녕히 계세요, 여러분.
영원히 옆에서 지켜줄게 언제라도